Welcome to Puzzle with Emilia, that's me, but today obviously we're not gonna do a puzzle because there isn't one single piece in the whole house. They are all gone. And not those who are newer to my channel, this is how my house used to look like. I have done over 1,000 puzzles just in a few years. I've been 3 times in the World Jigsaw Puzzle Championship. I've been in Speedbuzzing Nationals and other events around the Europe, even crazy 24-hour puzzle marathon. I started doing coaching, I made money with my puzzle content. So there's a lot more than just my puzzles at stake here. There's 3 things you might be wondering. What the F happened? Am I really throwing away all of this? And what's next? It was just one January day, beautiful, sunny outside, and I was like, nope, I'm done. But to understand the reason, how did we end up with that? I think we have to start from the very beginning, all the way back to 2022 when I did my first puzzle. My first puzzle wasn't actually something I bought for myself. It wasn't even a gift from a friend. It was a collaboration on my personal Instagram account, obviously. And as you can see, this is very staged. So those 2 are actually my first puzzles, plus I think I got a 3,000 piece puzzle, but I just didn't put it on the picture. I actually don't even think I did either one of that 500 or 1,000 piece one. I wanted to do the 3,000 piece puzzle. You may have seen this before, but the craziest thing is that this did not fit on my table. So I did it in the most uncomfortable place in my bedroom on the floor, that it's absolutely insane at this point to think that that got me hooked into doing jigsaw puzzles. I will show you where I did it. Let's go, people. It's a lovely puzzle. It's still probably one of my favorites just because it's the first one. Also proof there is no puzzles in this house. Nowhere. I did it here, like literally on this corner. So I didn't even have time to like sit here. So I was literally here on the bed trying to reach the pieces like this. It was absolutely insane. At that time, I had no idea speed puzzling existed. So I just started to buy puzzle here and there, you know, mainly 2,000 piece puzzles. And I think people who started doing puzzles before speed puzzling existed or they heard about it can kind of feel the same. So the point of doing puzzles was do the big puzzles, like 500 piece puzzle. Come on, that's just boring, stupid. What's the point of that? So I always had like one puzzle on my table, but nothing crazy, like just a few puzzles, buying one on a trip or going to a museum, just having like a souvenir. And I'm pretty sure I was working hard back then, and I'm pretty sure my occupational psychologist was really proud of me because I told him that I have found a very relaxing hobby. I'm doing jigsaw puzzles. I can tell you that I don't think that psychologist is very proud of me anymore. Since I kind of went overboard with it and took it from something extremely relaxing. You know what I mean. It's like 100 or 10 or 0. And this was supposed to be the wind down activity for me. And a year later, now, for those who don't know, I actually used to play in a Finnish national team, Ultimate Frisbee, as you can see here. And I think it's important for the story because that's over a decade ago, and after I stopped my career, I promised myself I will never ever in my entire life compete in anything. Because there's few things back then that I really hated. I don't think I hated the competing itself, keep the competition purely inside of the competition arena. So it does impact a little bit of social relationships in my opinion. Of course, everybody has their own experience, and also, which is not a big deal, but I just personally don't like it, even though I do it probably myself as well. But in a lot of sports, it's always the best players kind of like starting to, there's kind of like a clique, like those people hang around with each other, and there's kind of like a groups of people in a way. And then of course, kind of like the pressure coming from competing, but this is completely different because back then I was at young age, and I think it's very different than when you're competing as an adult. The pressure is still there, but maybe the resources to handle it is a bit different. And even though I was like, okay, I'm never gonna compete again, but somehow when it came to puzzles, and even though I was planning on going to the World Championship for the first time, I was like, how much overboard can you go with this? Like, this is not really competing, right? Little I knew. And that's funny because also back then in 2023, I started my puzzle Instagram account. And this is a funny thing because here's my first post. You may have seen it. And back then before posting that, I didn't know anybody. I knew nothing. And I was like, I have the biggest puzzle collection in the whole world because I can pile them up and it's taller than me. And that's about the same time I actually started really getting into speed puzzling. I actually wanted to bring one more thing because even though I stopped playing Ultimate Frisbee a couple of years after that, I actually went to Middle East, and I want to bring it up because what's happening in the world right now. Ultimate Frisbee is one of the only sports in the world that it's played without referees, even in the World Championship level. And we thought that the kids in the Middle East, coming from different communities in the conflict zone, to kind of build relationship and trust amongst each other between like the communities that are in the conflict. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that, but I'm not going to get into details because I don't want this video to be flagged as a sensitive topic. But that is something important for me. And I think also something that I lost with my puzzles, why am I now in the situation of not having puzzles, is that I kind of lost the purpose of why I'm doing this. And yeah, that just reminded me of this. Also, I kind of got lucky with the timing of when I started speed puzzling. And we actually just had a great talk with Tobias Bremer on one of my speed up sessions about this, because when I started, and why people back then considered like, oh my, like you're super fast, the speed puzzler, crazy. I won like 5 competitions in a row, but the competition was very different level back then. Like, yes, I won competitions, but my winning times were like hour and 6 minutes. That's not considered fast today, but back then it was, because even if we always say like, yeah, no, I'm just saying I'm fast or slow based on my own experience. I'm not comparing myself to others. Yes, you are. We all do that. Everything else you claim is bullshit. But it was so easy to keep myself motivated. And also back then, even if you went to the Jigsaw Puzzle Championship, the World Championship, nobody was really like practicing. Like some people don't really even do 500-piece puzzles. And even before the World Championship, I did this video that people still, it's my most watched video every week since then, where I just shared my tips about speed puzzling. I'm so happy I did that video, bringing kind of like the sports methods and the psychology into how to practice and getting faster, because I did it when my times were still like over an hour. So it's always easy to say when somebody so super fast gives you tips, like, okay, well, you're just saying that because you're already fast. But I think that video is really good legacy, and then it got recognized by the federation and shared in a lot of places, and I started doing more. I started getting faster. But yeah, that's how I kind of also got eventually not only competing but also into coaching. So far we have covered already 2 reasons I hate competing. I always hated that for various reasons, and I kind of lost my purpose with puzzling. Now let's get to the 3rd point, but before that I'm actually gonna start showing how did I get rid of all of my puzzles. And not only that, but I'm just letting you know I did not throw them to the trash. I actually bought a storage where they are right now. And as I'm filming this, it happened already a month ago. But if you want to buy any of those puzzles that you see, let me know. I'm gonna be in the Swedish Championship, Belgium Championship, Norwegian Championship, World Series, a Dutch Championship, and maybe somewhere else that I committed before I realized that I don't want to do puzzles anymore. But hey, I'm there for the people. So another reason, because obviously this whole situation is a sum of multiple things. So as you know, my health hasn't been that great either. And actually now it's a good time to mention, for example, Amy Stewart puzzles I'm not willing to give away because, for example, when I was very sick in 2023, I'm forever grateful for the puzzle community to come together, and as a surprise they sent me like so many, was it like 10 Amy Stewart puzzles, and there was something that was actually signed by her and letter, and I'm forever grateful for that. I have very much emotional attachment to those puzzles for that reason only. So there are puzzles I'm not willing to give away because I don't want to regret it later. But yeah, my health has not been great. It has been gotten worse over the time, and it has been kind of personal issue for me that's been really hard for me to keep private. For example, in the Swedish Championship in 2024, I literally crashed in the competition venue, and I know just the organizers came to tell me like, oh, there's a lot of people coming to the info point to ask like what's happening and all the information, which is super nice, I know, with good intentions, but I also then talked with one of the father, one of the organizers, and wise old man told me that you do have to understand that if you live on people's screens and doing so much content as you do, people will always have like, whether it's coming from care or, you know, they're gonna have a lot of opinions in both positive and negative, and there's nothing you can do about it. So that's like one pressure thing. Now we're getting away from the health thing, but that is also one thing. I think it's fair to say somebody's probably gonna comment, if you put yourself out there, you have to deal with it. Well, if I now decide to no longer after this put myself out there, will you people stop like having opinions, please? Most likely not. I'm screwed for life. You know, I have my own life as well. I have responsibilities in life. I own a business, so I work luckily now full time. Sometimes I've been so sick that I have been working more like part-time. As you can hear, this is a little bit personal for me, but I'm trying not to cry. God damn it, get it together. But it's a lot when I was not only doing puzzles, but I was competing. I did so many events, do a lot of traveling, and do like not only travel and do the puzzle and compete, but I also did a content from there. I started commentating at events. I started my coaching program. I was coaching privately, and eventually I actually realized at one point that for a long time I actually have not done puzzle or speed puzzling just for myself. It's always when I'm filming or coaching or some other purpose rather than just like, oh, I feel like speed puzzling, let's do this puzzle. Already like Belgium Championship last year in 2025, I was like, I'm just not feeling it. And funny, not funny thing, I had one realization. I was in Greece just like half a year ago, and I got sort of hit by a car. I don't ask, life has really a thing for me. I don't know what's going on. Nothing bad happened, but I did hit my sensory nerve on my hand, and I could not feel my hand for a week. At that point, I didn't know if it's gonna like come back to life. And it was a funny thing. I remember I thought like, okay, what if I'm not able to do puzzles ever again? And that was my thought. And then I realized I don't really actually feel anything negative about that thought. Like, yeah, but maybe this is telling me something. Yeah, a lot of my health issues have taken place when I've been in the puzzle events or puzzle trips. There was one particular incident in August that my body is still trying to recover from, and it was attached to something else. Also, I feel like puzzles has become for me more like a trigger that puzzles are guilty by association rather than anything else. And because I already way before was already getting a little bit burned out with puzzles, then I just ended up eventually I was like, okay, I'm so done with this. But good news is that I am still going to be doing coaching. That is absolutely something I love. And I posted my initiatives to my Instagram. I'm gonna be working on those, which I mentioned. I want to see what we can do, creating a better competition environment for kids. And I will put that post in there because there's a couple other things. I will put it in the description. So if you have any input on any of those, please send me a message. I would love to hear that. I've already gotten a lot of messages. I'm getting back to all of you when the time is right. But yeah, I think that's pretty much the story. This is a public video, so I don't know how deeply I can go with this. Because I don't even actually have a very clear answer myself. I think getting rid of all these puzzles was also for me just to get a distance, at least from something. Also, the fact is I live in a 50 square meter house, so they were everywhere, so maybe it's better anyway, just for practical reasons. But anyway, let's go see where did the puzzles go. And one thing I can tell you for sure, it is insanity trying to get over 1,000 puzzles out of your house. And yes, we were doing some squat challenge over there. Yes, first of all, how do you pack them? And also, like, then we obviously realized that the car doesn't actually fit that many puzzles. And after that, we come to the storage. It's a 2 meter square storage around that. So it's gonna be like a game of Tetris, which is insane because, you know, after the Ravensburger and Truffle puzzles, which I happen to have quite a lot, it's almost like every puzzle box is a little bit different size. So how do you pile them up without obviously causing a massive disaster of everything falling down, which I, by the way, did a couple of times. And yeah, what's next? In addition to my initiatives, I will be probably doing live streams for my competition because I was recently in a Danish championship, which was crazy because it was my first time doing a speed puzzle solo after like 3 months or so. And if you're wondering, did I get inspiration or a spark to do puzzles again? No, I did not. But I will be probably live streaming directly real time from competitions like the Swedish championship coming up now. And if I will be doing more videos, I want to highlight other people, use my platform for that. And I already told somebody this is not gonna land well, but please buy my puzzles so I can fund my psychologist appointments because my life has been an absolute surviving lately. But I will be thriving eventually, don't worry about that. And usually I would say bye-bye and see you next time, but maybe see you next time. We'll see. So far we have discovered I actually hate competing, I always had, and I already forgot what's the second one. What the hell? My memory is amazing. Ha! I lost my purpose. I lost my memory as well.